Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m.
This is Newsmaker from the staple of OSBC television in our UK Valley. From the News and Current Affairs Department, and some people usually call this particular program the arena for journalists to express their findings, that is in terms of journalistic discovery. And that is why we always have journalists of years of experience to come and display and to let people know what is behind the news that they produce from the newsroom. I want to say that we are going to have the chairman, of OSBC, NUJ Chapel, for some time, and still strong and leading the new chairman of now this into how he did it during his own tenure, then to as a guide to the current chairman or executive is Comrade Babatunde Fanawapo. Welcome, sir.
It's good to be on the show this evening.
Thank you. Yes, we can remember that some years you were on the seat of chairman, and during that very time we cannot talk about how you emerged, because we learned that almost everybody, almost 100% votes was cast for you because of the love people said that you were expressing. Then we are now having OSBC is rounding up the press week today. Even when we learned that they have just left Jumat and they are being gathered somewhere by Honorable Azim, who happens to be your lawyer.
And my former boss. That's interesting.
Okay, let us go into union first. When you were in government as the union leader, then how do you feel to have a press week?
Well, let's talk about unionism first. Unionism is all about service to the members of the union that you belong to. You know, there are some things you have to put into consideration when you are into unionism. You must first be a staff of a particular, organization before you can be appointed as the leader of a particular union in that particular establishment. So, first and foremost, I became a staff of OSBC before I could also be, deemed fit to become the leader of the union. So, when you talk about unionism, you talk about service to the people. You understand? Because their interests must always be paramount in your day-to-day thinking. When you sleep the members of the union. When you drink the members of the union. When you eat the members of the union. When you think the members of the union. Because their welfare must be very paramount to you as the leader. And also you must provide leadership. You understand? And apart from that, during my own time, I thought about, even building their capacity. And for the very first time, I was able to, mobilize the entire U.S. Consulate General to come down to Osun to build the capacity of my members, which was unprecedented. Let me also say this, that my predecessors in the office have done fantastically well in building the union, because if they did not work well, there wouldn't have been something for us to meet on the ground.
As a platform.
You understand? So they did very well in the past. Do you want to talk about our elder, Mr. Smole Shitu Omopenuni Alam? You want to talk about Mr. Akinola Olabi? You want to talk about Mrs. Jumoke Akinjiola? You want to talk about Mr. Shola Ajiboye? You want to talk about my very, very ever vibrant brother and the honorable representing, at the south, at the north, Egbedore and Ejigbo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives now, Bamidele Salam, who God used to build what we now have as the Penn Resource Center. His ingenuity, his sagacity, his industry actually helped in building this union. And these are some of the things we inherited from all of these people that we have mentioned. And we had no choice, honestly, than to build on what they have done in the past. And that is why I must commend the present, ESCO of the NUJ OSBC for deeming it fit to honor all their heroes, those who have served in that capacity as a chairman of this union in the past. So we say a big thank you to them. They have really done well. It is unprecedented. This is the very first time this kind of arrangement has been put in place. I almost thank the chairman of the union now, Latif Agbola, for deeming it fit even to honor all the heroes of NUJ OSBC. But there's one thing I want to say. NUJ OSBC Chapel, is one among equals. When you talk about, journalism profession in Osun State, we are definitely a force to be reckoned with. And we thank God we continue to maintain that standard.
Thank you very much. OSBC Chapel happens to be the mother of all chapels.
Definitely.
Yes, when you were in as a chairman, then we learned that things were very simple in the newsroom then. You have almost all materials you needed. But now, improvisation, power outage, and some other things like that. What's your advice to the present administration?
Okay, you see, when you look at Nigeria generally, you agree with me that things are not actually improving. Things are actually deteriorating. It doesn't affect only OSBC or NUJ OSBC alone. It affects the entire country. Let's go down the memory lane. I was saying when Chief Obafemi Awolowo was the premier of the western region of Nigeria, cast your mind back to the situation then and what we're having now. Things were far, 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 far more better. And you keep asking yourself, why is it that in the case of Nigeria, things don't get better? Things continue
every day
to get worse. You understand? The time you were talking about, how much were we changing $1 to Naira? How much are we changing it today? What was the cost of a Toyota Corolla then? What is the cost today? How much were we buying fuel then? How much are we buying it today? How much was a bag of rice then? How much are we buying it today? Why is it that things continue to degenerate in Nigeria? You understand? So it doesn't affect our nucleus alone. It affects every facet of
And when we look at your practices, which is production of news.
Okay.
During your own time, because I was not part of you then, you know that it was hectic. Now you just sit down and then you compile the news.
No, it was not actually hectic. You know, the time you were talking about, we have News Agency of Nigeria. They have their facility in the newsroom where you can get news from every nook and cranny of Nigeria. It's just like your Google now. None was in every part of Nigeria. It's just, the machine is just like a fax machine like that. You want something from Yobe, you get from Yobe. You want something from Damaturu, you get from Damaturu. You want something from Maiduguri, you get from Maiduguri. Apart from the fact that you monitor BBC,
Yes.
you monitor CNN.
No, okay.
You understand? But you know, modernization has made it easier. Even if you need any information now, you go through artificial intelligence. AI is the in thing now. AI will give you any information you need. But the question is, how much are we latching on these opportunities that we have? Come to think of it, in the year, was it 2012? I was in London to cover the London Olympics. Okay, so when I was traveling, I did money exchange. I had about £1,000, you know, cash with me to travel with to the UK. You know, how much did I buy my ticket? This year we're talking about. The £1,000 that I changed was not up to 300,000 naira. So how much is £1,000 today? Okay? And in all of this, it may interest you to know that I was not given a penny before traveling because they were still, you know, busy with, you know, filing my papers with the government and the rest of it. And they told me, okay, Fanakwa, if you can raise the money, you can go. But you can be rest assured that by the time you come back, we'll reimburse you. So I had to raise the money on my own, got my ticket, got my stuff, and I traveled. With just tickets, you know, the money I took, you know, with me, within the range of 500,000. If you want to buy a ticket to the UK now, to London now, you know how much you'll be spending, over £1 million naira. You know, these are some of the things, that things have really changed. You understand? And you know, it will trickle down to the lowest ebb. You cannot help it. Before you buy your ticket, before you think about your accommodation, you know, I was not even talking about my accommodation. But because of the contact that I have out there, I had to, you know, manage somehow. And I was able to deliver. But things have really changed. And if we cannot perform to the optimum now, honestly speaking, there's no way you can blame anybody for it because the system is so porous that everybody is just trying to manage themselves.
Okay, I want to look at how people are managing now.
Okay.
Can that one lead to people like a Adeleke attitude, or people being not interested enough, or not having the high morale on this job, particularly in the newsroom?
Okay, if I want to share my experience, so now when I joined OSBC, you know, I knew what I met on ground. There's no doubt in the fact that this is a very good training, you know, environment for any aspiring, you know, journalist. Shewa Kibaluye of Channels Television today passed through here and is doing marvelously well. Likewise, so many people. Don't forget that the guy that discovered that in Benin Republic we had some fake universities that were giving, terrible degree certificate. Trained here, he served there, the guy served there. You understand? I normally tell people that if you want to get the best of training, the best paid place to go in Osun is OSBC. We may not be performing optimally now because of certain challenges, but give it to OSBC. This is the place to train the future stars. You understand? If I have a son that studies mass communication, I will definitely ask my son to come and train here.
Irrespective of the challenges.
Oh, sure. The owner of Rave Television, Rave FM today is a product of this place. Bamidele Salam that I have just mentioned, member of the House of Representatives, is a product of this place. So many people are product of this place. When OSBC was the voice, it's still the voice of the region, then we know what we're talking about. There was a time we had bureau chiefs in virtually all the southwestern states. You understand? So we have our pedigree. We have our history. You understand? And you cannot take it away from OSBC. Yes, if things are not working the way they should this time around, yes, it is understandable. But it's a passing phase. It will come, and definitely it will go.
Okay, thank you. Let us now move on to the national issue. Few hours ago, the Minister for Education announced that he meant what he said about a month ago, that a child of under 18 will not be allowed to go into the university. Not only that one, will not write SSCE. Then, from the newsroom, what is the interpretation of that statement?
Okay, when that decision was made, there have been so many people, different organizations, societies, coming up with all sorts of arguments on the issue. That you have some exceptionally brilliant students who are underage. Are you going to stop them from proceeding? And some people have advanced the idea that if you do that, you're going to make them idle. And they say an idle mind becomes the devil's workshop. You understand? When you look at all this forth and back on arguments, you want to agree with everybody. But let's take, for instance, in the UK, in the United States of America and other developed economies of the world, a child will not go to school until that child is about 5 or 6. But in Nigeria, we have jettisoned that. All my children, for instance, started school when they clocked 1. That's why you have this kindergarten,
catch them young,
nursery, blah, 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 blah. And we spend heavily. You come to think about what led us to this kind of situation. Economic reasons. The father would go this way, the mother would go that way, in order for them to make both ends meet. You understand?
They fix the children into school.
Of course, because they cannot just afford to leave their children. They have to fix them somewhere. That is why we have all sorts of crutches all over the place. You put your children there, some will drug them. Just sleep. You understand? And definitely, this will have adverse effect on the children.
Brain drain.
You understand? So, I think what this government is doing is right. But we have passed that stage for so long. And going back to it is what is giving our people serious problems. When I could remember when I was to start my primary school, You know, I was told by my parent that anytime my brother, because we are just three in the family, my elder brother, I'm the second, and I have my younger brother. You know, that when my elder brother, you know, started his primary school, anytime they were leaving home for school, I'll be crying. You understand? They took me there. They say, okay, put your hand to touch your... And it never reached. You know, I was saying, go back. You understand? You know, because they knew what they were doing. And that is what we are talking about. In some climes, you know, you see that the amount they sold, you know, a kilo of chicken, for instance, 10 years ago, is what they are still selling a kilo of chicken today. But in Nigeria's case, it's not like that. You understand? So it was like that, and we maintained the standard until things started degenerating. And things have so much degenerated to the extent that it is even difficult for anybody who wants to make a change to even start that change. You understand? Honestly speaking, I still want to look at, by next year, how the government will be able to effect all these policies. There will be so much uproar. We have seen some children who are less than 18 that have already, you know, passed a certain number of subjects, and they have finished their SS3.
Even have a good result.
That would have to maybe go to higher institutions next year. Are you saying they will have to wait at 16? They will have to wait 2 years until they are 18 before they can gain admission into the university? I don't know how the government is going to approach this.
Even when you go to some schools, some new schools, go to Foye, go to university in that is medical, and some other university, even go to OAU, you see that this is some underage. Of
course, they are all over. Since they are marching up, they are trying as much as possible to catch up with the system. If they have the ability, why stopping them?
But possibly what it is that when you look at the security aspect, because people may be brilliant, but in terms of maturity may not be there.
You know, we have this balance that if you pass through a university, you must allow the university to pass through you. You understand? Okay, for instance, my son is just 16. He's been admitted. Okay? Now,
underage.
Before his admission, he was asking me, Daddy, I hope this 18-year thing will not affect us. I said, this year, I pray it will not affect you. You understand? And now, if he misses this year, that means that one will have to stay 2 years at home.
And it's not easy to cope again.
What will you be telling him? What will he be doing? Even if I ask him to go and do A-levels, after A-levels, what happens?
200 levels again.
No, but they say an 18-year-old a 16 or 17 years old person cannot enter the university.
17 years old.
By next year, I will still be 17. So what are we talking about? So anything I have to do it this year.
Because even there is a notion that if a pupil or a student passes out SSC, that very year, if the person doesn't get admission, the person's brain will be draining.
This is what we are saying, because what will you have the boy or the girl doing? Okay, go and do A-levels. I've done A-levels. When you finish your A-levels, what happens? You move to year 2.
Year 2.
But they say, okay, a 17-year-old person or 16-year-old person cannot enter the university. What happens? What happens?
So some people say that instead of saying that they must be 18, government should find something like vocation to engage them, possibly from 15 or 16 for about 2 years, So if they are engaged in that vocation, probably learning some little things that is going to be officially
Let me shock you with something. You know, in some of our schools now, they give all those children even double promotion. You understand? I made it as a point of policy for my children because I look at their age. I said, okay, it will not be a bad idea for you to enter the university at 16. So all my children, I made sure that by the time they were leaving the secondary school, they would have been 16. 16 is still okay to enter the university. I know some people in this climb that ensured that their children enter the university at the age of 13. And these children are performing.
Even some
in
of
their
them
various
are the best in the department.
At 13, I know some of them studying medicine.
Some of them are the best. Some of them are best.
You understand? I know. But the government, in its own, wisdom, says, okay, we want it at 18. You understand? Some people have argued that why the government is doing it at this point in time is that even is because there's no jobs for them to give to these children.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
But that is why you see all these universities also going to, entrepreneurial approach to education. Don't forget the last time we had the VC of Osun here. He was talking about it. I know some universities in Nigeria that as soon as they have their graduates out of the school, they have something doing already. They are not going for white-collar jobs. You understand? And this should be the approach of our ivory towers in Nigeria, because there are no jobs out there. Where are the jobs? But even right from the school, the children must know that, okay, this is the area I'm focusing, except in some special areas. Except in some special areas. But the truth of the matter is that there are no jobs out there.
But when you look at jobs like banking job and some other things like that, when you see their application or you see their announcement for recruitment, is that they will have the base of about, they will say, of 25 years or 24 years with 5 years experience. That means that all these organizations too, they are expecting people to finish before the age of 24.
This is what we
and that one is supporting underage in university.
Because you need them in their prime.
Yes.
To be functional, to be productive. Productivity is the key in those areas that you are mentioning. If you are not productive, you don't have any business there. You understand? If I establish a business today, I know what I want. And I know how I go for what I want. You understand? It's not about the idea of the people that Ogota, you must deliver. Okay? Your productivity must be commensurate with the money you are being paid. It has to go pari passu. If you don't deliver, you will not get from me. It is on the basis of your delivery that I'll pay. But in terms of government jobs, it's not like that. Whether you do or you don't do, you must be paid at the end of the month. And that is why you see everything government, coming out the way they are coming out. All right? So this is the situation.
Well, when you go to some universities, particularly when you talk about security, when they parade some suspects of cultism, rape, and some other things like that, you virtually see that some of them are students of tender age. And when you are interviewing them as journalists, see that some of them will be saying that they girls into that very particular level out of ignorance. That somebody threatening them, then possibly the government now discover that people who go into university at a tender age, they are not matured intellectually or in terms of how to control themselves, how to control some of the things. Possibly when they mature at the age of 18, then they can be able to decide what you bring. I don't want it. I can't join you. I can join you. But children of tender age, when they force them, then they are right. Possibly can that be a justification for pegging it to 18 years and above?
Okay. What is the foundation? Okay. As you lay your bed,
Rely on it.
it's as simple as that. Then what kind of follow-up do parents make or do as touching their children or what? Okay, I have my child in Adeleke University, for instance. Do I follow up? Do I check on him? It's not about sending money alone. You understand? You think about it. The child's well-being, how he's faring, the kind of company he's keeping. You understand? You monitor them bumper to bumper. But some parents will just put their children in the university and they go to sleep, not minding what these children are doing out there. Someone told me that in life, you must have a mentor, you must have a role model, and you must have a spiritual father. You know, when you have certain issues that you can really talk to, and such person will give you the right kind of advice. So who is your child role model? Who is his mentor? Who is the spiritual father? What role are you playing, even as a parent? These are germane issues that we must address. You understand? The Yorubas will say, are you getting it? We must be practically involved in everything about our children. Honestly. So when you do that, and you must have been seen. In fact, some children would want to pour their minds out to their parents, but they won't even have the time to listen to them.
Parents that are not available.
They are not available. They are not even available to listen.
But now there is clash of interest. The federal government has made the rule that whether we like it or not, we must abide by it.
Yeah.
Then, do you think that because in terms of admission, if somebody doesn't get admission in federal university, he or she may go to state university. If he doesn't get the opportunity, he can go to private school. Then the private school has the opportunity of getting some things that the federal government has legislated against. Then do you think that this one will cause the dichotomy of interest between the federal government school and private school?
You know, the laws of the federal government affect all the public schools and the private schools. It's the government that we're talking about. When you talk about the private schools, how did they get their licenses?
From the federal government.
Oh, sure.
But do you think that some of them will not for a way out?
No, if the federal government is making a decision or a law, they must abide. But, you know, just like I said earlier, I want to see how the federal government is going to navigate this very, very terrain, because I don't see it. You want to stop a student for 2 years doing nothing?
Do you subscribe to creating entrepreneurial skill in secondary school to take care of the 2 years or thereabouts?
Why not allow those who are falling within this category to go? Then you build. Because this problem is foundation. If you want to do it, you don't just take it from the top. You take it from the foundation. Are they solving the problem in the primary school level? That's the question.
Enrollment from
the primary school. How old are the children they enroll? Even this year.
From Chris.
So let's even look at the sustainability of this policy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. This is a very, very serious case, and I want to appreciate.
Now they are enrolling 3-year-old coming into primary school.
Government is not doing anything about this.
They are not now talking about university.
Okay, are you advising
They are only paying lip service to it. It won't work. It won't last.
It will fail.
Definitely, I can assure you. Because it's something that you have to address from the foundation, but you are addressing it from the top.
But don't you think that it will make some people to flee their child abroad?
Why not insist that, okay, this year's enrollment into the new classes, if your hand cannot touch your hair,
we
don't
bring
come
it back.
But at the end of the day, you have a 2-year-old entry now. What will happen?
Start counting the years.
Oh, sure. What you are trying to prevent will still continue. It cannot last. It won't work.
Then let us look at the effect.
Okay.
If it starts, possibly it starts this year or next year, because in few months to come they will start registering for WAEC. That's internal. Or if it doesn't start this year, then to start next year. Let us look at the effects on the pupils who are set.
There's no effect. It won't work.
It won't work?
It won't work. Go and write it down. We will be back here.
But principal may not register them.
We will be back here to discuss this. Go and write it down. We will be back here to discuss this. How will it work?
But if there is legislation that they should not register under 18 years in schools.
Let's see how it bounces out. I'm telling you it won't work. We like to pronounce policies. But the workability of our policies is what I'm talking about. How will it work? We have some children now that could not pass maybe their mathematics or English language, so they cannot enter the higher institution now. They will resit subsequently, and you want to stop them for 2 years. It's not working.
Thank you very much, the chairman of OSBC, NUJ Chapel, for some time ago, and one of the supporter of the present union. Thank you very much, Mr. Babatude Fanawako. Thank you very much on behalf of the executive producer, that is the DNC, and the producer Yusuf. They say that we should say thank to you for being our guest in the newsroom. I'm Adeleke saying bye for now.